Hello everybody, welcome to this video. In this video, I just want to show you how to work with the store menu inside of our game. So if you go to the menu here, we have a game object, a canvas game object, and this canvas got something called store view. Inside the store view, we got different parameter. The first thing, we got the back button, which is this red button here. We got a loading overlay. We have actually an overlay here, so you might use this overlay in certain cases. Also, we have another thing here. We have something called store, and this store is inside something called main menu. So if you go to the scene here and double click on this menu, you can you can see this is the main menu that we have. If you double click on the store, you can see this is the icon of the store. So once you click here, we're just gonna show the menu. All right, we're just gonna show the menu or the store menu. So this is just the case. So once you click in the store, we're just gonna show the store here. So we have the store here. So once you click on this button, we're just gonna show this store Rick transform game object. So I don't want to talk about the store component right now. Let me just talk about here the store itself. It just as you can see here, it just store with the Rick transform and with something called store controller. And we talked about store controller in the previous videos, and we saw how to work with the store controller in order to initialize the different functions and events associated with the store. So you can see this game object is by default is deactivated. So once you open the scene, this store is just going to be deactivated. So we're just gonna enable this store according to a button click. So if you go back here to the menu, you can see here inside this menu, the store is a child game object inside this menu. So we can get this child from the parent here menu. If you open the store again, you're just gonna see here we have a reference to the back button. So if you come here, we have a back button here. So you have to drag this back button into the menu editor field here. We have also loading overlay. So we have this loading overlay. Also, we have links buttons. So here are the links buttons. So what do we mean by links button? Or links buttons. Links buttons are used inside the store. So if you open the store, we have here's the store. We have an overlay, which is at the top of the store, which is a background here. Also, we have a title of the store. We have here the is store initialized. So this is just basically a text field. We just moved it to the bottom. So once the store is initialized, we're just going to change this value to store is initialized. We have also items container. We talk about these two items in the previous videos. How to create a scroll or rect scroll using the scroll rect tool here, the scroll rect script, and how to use the horizontal wrapper in order to include the product here, as you can see. So we're just gonna go talk about this in details, but let me just talk about the links. So we have something called here links buttons. So if you open the links buttons here, you're gonna see we have two buttons. The first button is for Google Play, and the other button is a link for my website. So if you open this links button, you can see we have these two buttons here, just basically buttons with images. So this element here, links button, is by default deactivated. So we need a reference to this links buttons in order to activate it and deactivate it based on the inventory balance. So when we have, for example, when the user purchased Ahmad Nasser t-shirt or purchased any of the items, he's just gonna get a link for show this link or activate this link. So by default they are deactivated. We need to activate them through the store menu. Okay, the store menu or the store view. So this is the store basically. It's got item container, we got item buttons. Also we have something hidden here, which is the action buttons. So in case you want to refresh the inventory, we're just gonna call the Soomla store refresh method, and just gonna refresh the inventory. We have another method here called restore transactions. So if you want to cancel all of your transactions, you can call this method. So, but they are by default, they are hidden. They are associated with a certain function here called store control to refresh inventory, and the other one is associated with another function called store controller to restore transactions. So by default, they are deactivated. So if you go a little bit to the top here, we have the main menu. We have this button here. We're just gonna call a method inside the store view. This method named as store view.navigate to store. So, but how we manage the navigation? By default, we said that we have to turn off the store, so we need to open the store manually. So if I came to you and said, all right, we need to have another menu. So let's say we have this store, we have another menu here. For example, I just want to make a UI and just want to make a panel, for example. And I just want to say this is, for example, this is second menu. All right. And I'm just going to change the opacity of it to be something like that. So I need to put it at the top here. All right. And let me just put it after the store. So where do we got the store? The store is here. So just going to put it here. All right. So if I say to you, I got the store, I got another thing here called second menu. By default, this also is turned off. So I need, when I click on a certain button in the screen, I need to turn this on. And when I click somewhere else, I'm just gonna, I need to toggle these menus. So let's say this is the first store menu, and this is, for example, the second menu that we have. Maybe you have more than one menu inside your screen. You need to toggle them. So in order to toggle this menu, I have to add another button. So let's come here to UI. Let's add a button here and double click on this button, move it to put it something like somewhere else. Let's just put it here. All right. So where do we define the buttons? Where do we define the menu? Where do we toggle the menu? We use here, we toggle all that inside the menu here. So inside the menu, as we said, we have a reference to the back button here. Inside the menu, we have a back button. Also, we have a reference to the loading overlay. We have a reference for links, and also we have a reference for the main UI panel. So loading overlay, we talked about, or loading overlay, which is here. We have a reference for here for the links button, and we talked about what is the links button. And the links button are these two buttons here. So we need to toggle them in certain cases. Also, inside the menu here, we have another thing called main UI panel. So once you show up a menu, we're just gonna hide this panel. So these are the main UI panel that contains all these buttons here. So this is a main UI panel. We need to attach it as a reference here inside the script. So in order to control all that, we have to go here inside the menu and go to the store view. And inside the store view, we have the menu state. So by default, we got the store menu, which is basically the no menu. We don't have any menu here inside the store menu. So let's say this is the store, the no menu. There's no menu. Okay. Second thing, we have the store here. Store, let's say the store menu, which is basically the store that we got, which is this one. All right, and also we have another thing here. We have we added a new menu. Let's say second menu. So we have to copy its name here inside the enumeration states here. So let me just rename this to second menu, for example, say 2. So inside the menu state, which is an enumeration data type, we have no menu, which is basically the default state. We don't have any menu. We have the store menu, which is basically the second menu that we have inside the scene. We have another menu here called second menu. So by default, when we start initializing this store view, we have to we have created here show links. So show links is not a menu, it's a component inside the store. So I added here a boolean flag in order to check if we need to show the menu or not. So this is just a flag used for that reason. Here we have the menu state. The menu state is the current menu state based on this enumeration data type. So I need to know what is the current menu selected, or what is the current menu state. So that's why I define here a current menu state. And by default, we're just gonna associate this menu state with the no menu. So when I open the scene, there's no menu there. So I'm just gonna show this here. After that, we're just gonna continue here. We have to define the back button, the loading overlay, and the links button, and the main panel. And we'll just give you a quick hint why do we need all these references, because we need to activate them and deactivate them inside of our script. Here we got an instance for the store view, and we also got a boolean flag if you want to initialize the overlay at the beginning or not. So for that reason, we have another method to show the overlay. So once we start the store view, we're just gonna load an overlay using this method. I'm just gonna back to it, but let me just focus on the main methods here. The first method here is start method. So once we initialize the scene, we're just gonna call the start method every time we load the scene. So here we're just gonna say toggle menu game object. What do we mean by toggle menu game object? If you scroll down a little bit, you have this method here called toggle menu game object. In this method, we just go for each of the enumeration types. So we need to loop it through the enumeration array that we have. So since we are talking about the enumeration of menu states, so we have to loop through the entire enumeration. So let's, in this case, for example, we have 3 items here. We have to loop across all these 3 items for this enumeration data type. So if you scroll down, you can see I'm using here for each loop in order to loop through these 3 items. So first I just begin with temporarily variable here called menu state in the enumeration of the menu state here. So I use enumeration the get names type of the selected enumeration type, which is menu state. So here I need to move, for example, 3 times. So I just loop across the array. So I begin here, I get the menu state object, and I need from the transform, the current transform, which is the menu, the canvas, the menu that we have, I need to find child of the selected name. So the selected name, for example, here is store or second menu. So I need to loop across this for loop in order to display the needed menu. So in case I need to turn on, for example, the store, so the name here is store, so I can't turn it on. In order to achieve that, we have to just continue here. So I just check if the menu here is not null, so I could find the menu. So I need to go here and toggle that to activate it to true. Yeah, so as you can see here, we first activate it anyways. So all the time we need to activate this game object, and after that we need to deactivate it. And why is that? Because we need to use this for initialization, to have a reference for this menu when we start the scene. So I initialize it, then I turn it off. So you can see here I initialize it first, then I deinitialize it, so according to this argument. I use in here string that equals the menu state with the current state. If these two are the same, I'm just gonna you know, for example, if the current menu state is store and the menu state here is store, I just gonna activate the menu. If not, we're just gonna deactivate it. So you can see here, once we started this scene at the top, we said that the current menu state is no menu. So when you start here, we're just gonna loop and activate all the game object, and after that we're just gonna make this comparison. If is the current menu state is store? No. So we're just gonna set this to false here according to this criteria. So we're just gonna make a string comparison between the menu state and the current menu state, and we're just gonna use this comparison criteria to ignore case. Okay, yeah, so this is how you could do it. And after this, we just activate all the game object and deactivate them. And after that, you can see here we just set active to the current button, back button, to be the inverse of the current state. So if the current state is not equal to the no menu, we're just gonna turn this on. If it's equal to the no menu, we're just gonna turn it on. So this is just a basic demonstration. Here we have the current menu state for the links. I don't need that, so you could just remove that option. All right. Here we have another functions. When you just gonna click or click on the back button, we're just gonna back to the no menu state. So I have to hide the overlay and activate the main panel UI and the current menu state. And I'm just gonna toggle the menu objects according to the current menu state. Okay, so here we have navigate to profile. I'm not using this method, so you can't remove it. Here for the update method, we're just gonna check if the current menu state is not equal to the no menu state and the input key is not escape key. We're just gonna navigate to main menu. If show links is enabled, we're just gonna toggle the external link. So what do we mean by toggle external link? Here we have a method called toggle external link. We just get the balance of learn from Ahmad Nasser item inside of Soomla items and app shared. If any of these item balance is more than 0, we're just gonna activate the button. If not, we're just gonna deactivate it. So this is pretty much here inside the update. We just do this check every frame, and that's all the story here. I'm just gonna back to this function, but let me just try to run the script and show you what is going on here. So yeah, this is the store. As you can see, this is the button used in order to turn on or navigate to the store. As you can see here, also here is the close button, the back button, and you can see the back button is not linked with any of the functions. So where do we link this function, this button, to a function or to an event? We link that inside the start. So if you go here inside the start method, let me just scroll a little bit down here, you can see the back button. On the click, we add a listener to it manually, and this is gonna be linked to a function called navigate to main menu. And this is the function that we have, navigate to main menu. You can see it here. So we just hide the loading overlay, we just activate the menu back, and we change the current menu state to no menu, and we need to toggle the menu object as you saw before. All right, so let's just test that. Click play. Okay, you can see right now, once we click in the store, we're just gonna hide the main panel here, so it's just gonna be deactivated, and we're just gonna show the store as you can see here. Once we close this, just gonna do the same thing here as you can see here. I'm just gonna continue the next part and show you how we could toggle the second menu using the same criteria that as we have here. So thank you guys for watching. See you in the next part.